Hello and welcome to the Tea Party Hardy channel. Glad to have you here. Thanks for stopping by. Oh, we're going to take a very different path today. So it is Monday, the 25th of March, and the Mueller report came out Friday, and of course, everybody's gone into their sides. What I want to do in this video is something a little different. I want to get into the Wayback Machine and compare a few different things. So I hope you'll enjoy the ride and cruise along with us. Now that it's over and the media has been exposed as, I'm going to use this term on purpose, ridiculously wrong, because they were acting ridiculous. There was no evidence whatsoever throughout this entire event. And while the left likes to scream, "Oh, but the dots, you created the dots. You did that, not Trump's actions. Go back and take a look. Mueller just spent 2 years with the most intense investigation America has ever done on itself. You created the dots, not Trump." But in the Wayback Machine, in 2012, the election came and Karl Rove and Dick Morris worked for Fox News. And they were satisfied and adamant that Mitt Romney was going to win the election against Barack Obama for his second term. It didn't turn out that way, and those two gentlemen ceased acting like gentlemen as the night progressed, and they landed up getting fired because of how wrong they were, mixed with their overreaction. Karl Rove eventually found his way back onto the network. Dick Morris did too, but it took Morris, many, many, many years to get back on, and he's barely been on, whereas Rove's a regular again. But here's an article from the Huffington Post, back when it was the Huffington Post, though it shows the new banner. And it says, "Fox News pushing Karl Rove and Dick Morris off the air." And this article goes back to December 4th, 2012. It was when it was updated. Fox fired their on-air personalities when they got it wrong. Will ABC fire their personalities for getting it wrong? Oh, not for just one election cycle, for 2 years. Will MSNBC fire Rachel Maddow et al.? And will CNN fire Don Lemon et al. For getting it completely wrong? What is the difference between Jussie Smollett facing jail time for the hoax that he perpetrated and the media for the hoax they have perpetrated? The left are still going, "Oh, it's not a witch hunt. Look at all these indictments." The indictments have absolutely nothing to do with Russian collusion. Not a single one of them. Not a single one of them. You want to scream excitement for indictments? Go for it. But if you want to connect it to why this witch hunt began, you lose again. You lose again. And will you all be fired just like Fox fired Karl Rove and Dick Morris because they got it so wrong? They had no reputation left after that. Rove had to rebuild his. Will these guys have to get fired so they can rebuild theirs? Or are we just all supposed to go, "Oh, well, there you go"? I covered a story not long ago, and it was about ABC and the fellow on there going, if the indictment comes back with if the Mueller report comes back with no indictment, it'll be huge, he said. And he said it like that, it'll be huge. It came back with no indictments. It's huge. He was right. Will they fire them? Sticking around in the Wayback Machine, and I mean the Wayback Machine, there was a man named Pontiac, long before the car, hundreds of years before the car. He lived in the 1700s. And he had a rebellion against the British because there was no such thing as an American yet. And in 1766, he held Fort Detroit at siege for several months until the people inside were starving, because that's how sieges work. But here's what happened in the end. They couldn't defeat the fort because what they didn't know is there was actually a couple of escape hatches in the fort, and there were people sneaking out and able to retrieve enough food and water to allow them to keep going. Not comfortably, but they were able to keep going. And Pontiac couldn't defeat him. So eventually, and this is what happened in so many battles with the Indians, or if you want to use the new, really weird term, Native American. Why do I say it's weird? Because everybody born in America is a Native American, if we're going to use words for what they're supposed to mean. So there he was, and all of his soldiers were like, dude, it's winter. We've been fighting this thing for months. We didn't do the harvest. What are we supposed to do for winter? What are we supposed to do for food? And that was always the problem that the American Indians had. After the plague wiped out enormous amounts of Europe, the plague came to America and wiped out enormous amounts of the people living there. And so they didn't have the population because, again, it didn't come to them for a few hundred years after it hit Europe. And the devastation was just as large. It's just they got sick and died, and those who lived just happened to be at the exact same time as an invasion. Whoops, bad timing. So the difficulty for the American Indians in fighting the war against the British and the French is they didn't have enough people to do the farming and to create a supply chain. When they all went to war, and the farms weren't planted. And that happened over and over again. It was one of the main reasons that the American Indians couldn't win the war. They didn't have a supply chain because they didn't have enough people to do everything. It's really hard doing wars. And the point of this is this. Pontiac didn't ever want to surrender. He wanted to take down the fort. And he couldn't do it. And eventually the men left him. And he was there standing, looking at the fort, going, I've almost got you. I've almost got you. And he was all by himself. And that's the media today. There they are standing all by themselves, looking at Trump going, we almost got you. No, you didn't. They have a hold. They're sneaking out. They're getting food. You're never going to get them. You're running out of food. Everybody else around you recognized it. When is the media going to recognize, dude, Trump's got a hole. It's called the truth. He didn't do it. There was no Russian collusion. When are you going to recognize it's over? Go home. Plant your crops. Grow some food. Otherwise, you're going to starve to death and die. Another topic in the Wayback Machine. When you fail at a coup, and this was a coup, when you fail at a coup, you better get ready to run and hide, or at least start wearing a brace around your neck that's made out of steel to provide protection against the hatchet men that are going to come after you. Wall Street Journal. Mueller's done. Now, probe the real scandal. Let's go after the FBI and Comey. If you lose the coup, the king or queen is going to come after you. That's one of the problems with a coup. You better be sure you're going to win. And it goes all the way back as far as there's been governance. It goes back where if you fail the coup, you're probably not going to live. Coups that fail often leave a very big blood trail. So the Wall Street Journal is calling for a probe into the losers who set up the coup. Michael Goodwin of the New York Post, he's calling for an end to the coup in his article, How to End Our National Nightmare. Probe Hillary Clinton again. You can't have a coup fail and not take down those who set it up. Because if you do, you've just told everybody, no, it's okay, just keep trying and trying and trying until you do again. It's no different than England with, no, we want to vote on Brexit again. No, you don't get to vote on Brexit again. We voted, you lost, get over it, separate. Hillary, you lost. Get over it. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. When you lose, pout for a few minutes. It feels good. And then get over it, and then get out there and start convincing people why you should win. It worked for Trump. It worked for Obama. It's not working for you guys. And you can do this. You can keep burying your head in the sand and going, no, we know you're a crook. We're going to find out. We're going to get something on you. You look like Pontiac standing there all by yourself going, I'm so going to take you down as soon as I find some help. There is no help. It's over. Go home. Finally, reparations. There's been a lot of talk lately about the Democrats saying they want reparations. You know what? Maybe that's a good idea. How about reparations? You took 2 years from President Donald J. Trump. You took them. You stole them. You completely stole them for a 100% false, drummed-up hoax, witch hunt, where there was no collusion, not an ounce, not a drip, not an iota. So let's do it. All right, Democrats, let's do it. I support you. So we need reparations. We need to get the reparations back, to give back the 2 years that were stolen. So let's do it, Dems. Run on reparations and give Donald Trump 2 additional years that you illegitimately stole. That's a great idea. And with that, we're going to wrap this up. We hope you enjoyed the trip on the Wayback Machine. We thank all of you who are subscribed and are checking out our videos. If you do like these videos, please share them. We got to fight the algorithm. Otherwise, we're not going to go anywhere. And if you are liking it and you think it's worthy to share with somebody, cool. If you don't like it and you're like, why did I even bother listening to this? Leave comments below. You know, the channel's brand new. I'm still trying to figure out how to do this. The feedback I'm getting, I'm applying the best I can. I've heard several complaints about the little mouse ending up, so I guess I got to take that out. I'll let you know. I try and be funny on occasions. I don't like being all dry all the time. I like doing the different voices. Some people think that's inappropriate for this style. Maybe it is. I don't know. Maybe I'm breaking new ground. Help guide it. If you're a subscriber, let me know, because you matter most, because you're the one that said, hey, I want to see and hear your videos. If you're not a subscriber, but you're thinking about it, but you're not quite sure because of, let me know. Okay? So thanks. And I won't do the mouse ending. So I need to come up with a new ending. Somebody said to do this. Thanks for stopping by. I don't know. We'll leave the light on. No, that's been taken. Y'all come back now. No, that's been taken too. I don't know. I'll come up with something. But until then, we're glad you were here.